Hello everyone. Alchemist here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today is a smoke scrying reading for you, and I'm going to use this fresh stick and channel the smoke for you. This is going to be a message about your soul's origin. Where do you come from? Where is your soul from? And just anything that you need to know, anything that spirit wants you to know at the moment, I'm going to channel it for you. Okay? Let's get right to it. Imbrasmith itesech ezen karoch oleresh kiten sonkarech sar etesen mar ifasen zoch oklereket iten. I see here the smoke is very mysterious. It's very mystical. It has a beautiful outline. And what I'm seeing here is that you come from this dimension where things were given to you. You were kind of a ruler, a wise man, a king, a queen. And things were very easy. This dimension where your soul is from allowed you to have a lot of power. It was a magical dimension. I imagine it to be something from a fairy tale, something from a fantasy world where mythical creatures exist. But the mythical creatures here are very powerful, like dragons, like phoenixes, like griffins. In fact, you had a griffin. He was your companion in this dimension. And you were some sort of king, someone with power, some sort of queen. I sense a very strong divine masculine here. Even though you were probably a woman, even if you were a woman, you had a very strong masculine energy. So power, control, and things were handed to you. You had everything kind of easy. The reason why is because how this dimension worked. You were meant to have the things that you had because of your lineage. You come from a very strong bloodline of rulers of that dimension. This is the energy of ancient gods and goddesses. If Greek mythology resonates with you, then it's something similar to Zeus, to Hades, Poseidon, these ancient gods that were so powerful. And you come from their bloodline. And this dimension where you were from, you inherited their power, you inherited their wealth. And the wealth is not in money form. Wealth here is in terms of the amount of castles you have, the amounts of lands you had, and the amount of lands you conquered and ruled in that dimension. You had supernatural abilities. You were able to fly. You were able to control elementals, especially fire. You were able to control fire and air. And the griffin was your companion. You had other mythical pets as well, but you were able to fly anywhere you wanted. And in this lifetime, you've done a lot of good things, but you've done also a lot of bad things. In fact, the bad things were way more than the good things. So you took over a lot of things that you were not supposed to take over. You did some things that you were not supposed to do. The reason why you did them is because of your role, because you were a ruler, because you had to, you had some enemies and you had to protect yourself in a way but also just show your power. Even if it wasn't for protection, you needed to show these enemies or these other gods or deities, you needed to show them your power. So you did things that you were not supposed to do. And that affected your life. This life was full of agony and confusion, and you were always wondering about if you're doing the right thing or not. You were confused. And your life ended in a fight, in a war. So that's how your life ended. It was not a peaceful life whatsoever. It was the opposite of peaceful. But because of the amount of wars and clashes you had to go through and confusion, even though you had power, even though you have supernatural abilities, one of the enemies or some of the enemies, they made sure to annihilate you, and they did, and they succeeded. That's the origin of your soul. So in this lifetime, you came back as a human being on earth. The reason why you came here, you came back to here on earth, is to make amends, is to understand what's your purpose, why you are here, and the reason why you're not supposed to do what you did in that lifetime. It's almost like paying back karma. Because you know, the dimension of earth is the dimension where you get to pay back karma. Souls, when they spend an amount of time in other dimensions, let's say they spend there thousands of years or millions of years, and they live there like gods, like deities, and they have supernatural powers. When that ends, when they die, because every deity also dies. You know, the Anunnaki kings, the Anunnaki deities, the Greek deities, you know, they all died, no matter how long they lived. Even if they lived for hundreds of thousands of years, for millions of years, they still die. So when you die, that karma you have accumulated, there's only one way for you to repay it. Only one way is to reincarnate as a human and do the work from scratch. So this earth, this mid-plane, this earth plane gives you the opportunity to make amends, to fix what you have done before. And this is a well-known concept in Buddhism. The fact that you're on earth means that you are not that much of a horrible person. Because if you were extremely horrible, you will not be on earth. You will be somewhere else, much worse than earth, much worse. But the fact that you are here is that it means that you've done some good stuff as well. But you're here to learn about how to be a good soul, how to be helping, how to be loving, how to be in service. Serve what? Serve the path of creation, the path of oneness, the path of understanding the purpose of why everything is the way it is. That's why you're here. And you're here to go through an alchemical transformation. You're here to shed the old you from that origin and transmute that energy into something beautiful. Good news is that your powers, your gifts and abilities that you had, your supernatural gifts and abilities, you still have them. They didn't disappear, but they're not activated. You still have them. You still can control fire and air, but you need to reactivate them again. Once you go through your alchemical transmutation or alchemical transformation, well, the alchemical transformation will help you transmute the energy that you have, this powerful magical energy, and use it for good instead of wars and bad things. So you're here to learn about this because when you were a deity, when you were a god, these things were not they were not important to you. You thought that you were eternal. See, most deities and gods think that they are eternal, but they're not. The Buddha, when he went to the fourth heaven, he had to teach the souls living there, who are at a deity level, these souls. He had to teach them that they're not eternal. They can live for hundreds of thousands of years. They can live for millions of years, but they're not eternal. They're still going to die. The Buddha had to teach them that because these souls, they live for so long that they forget that they're going to die. So they start thinking that they're eternal. Think of it as a human who has lived for 10,000 years, but he or she is still going to die. But they have lived for thousands of years for so long that they forget that they're going to die. So they start thinking that they're eternal beings. That's the thing with you. You're here to learn these aspects, to learn that no matter how much power you have, how much of a deity you thought you were, and even people can pray to you as a god, as a deity, you're still going to die. You're not eternal. And the only way to transcend that is to start learning how to be a good soul, how to be a good human, how to be helping, how to just the definition of being good. It doesn't need explanation. Everyone knows what being good is. It's something very basic, especially in this day and age. It's basic for anyone to know what being good is, how to be good. Spirit also wants me to tell you what I'm seeing here is that try to keep only the good from your origin, from that soul's origin. Try to get rid of the bad and keep only the good. The good things you had, the good deeds you've done as this powerful deity, you have to keep that because that's going to come in handy in this lifetime. So you were always righteous. You liked to be fair. You were helpful. You helped a lot of people who were in need. These are qualities you had and you need to have them. But the other stuff, the other bad things you did, you should transmute them. You have to start connecting to nature, connect to the ocean, because it's going to help you balance out your fiery energy, connect to water, meditate, go for very, very, very long walks. And in terms of studying the occult, try to listen to anything that comes your way. Don't dismiss it. Because you have this kind of king or queen energy, you still carry it with you that is very egoistic. It's like, I'm the king, I'm the queen. Who are you so I listen to you? Who are you so I can read your stuff? I know it all. You just have this energy, it's part of you. Is it something bad? It's not bad, but it's just part of who you were. But Spirit is trying to tell you through this reading that that's not who you are. Your true core is not that. That's something you accumulated when you were at that level. Because that level you had so much power and so much gifts and abilities that you accumulated that kind of ego, but it's not who you really are. So that's why you have to go through an alchemical transformation where you shed all of those nasty, bad layers that don't make you who you are and focus on your core aspect. So in alchemy, we call that the dark stage. You have to go through the nigredo stage, the dark stage, in order to reach the albedo stage, the white stage, where you're only left with your true core, because that's where your true soul lies, because that's who you truly are. So you have to work on that. That's the reason why you came on earth. That's the reason why you went from being a deity or a god or a goddess in these magical realms, and you're here as a human. is to fix the things that you have done and to learn about how to become who you truly are, which is not this higher being you were. It's not that. Even though you thought you were immortal and you've lived there for a very long time, and this earthly life seems so meaningless to you, it seems so small, and you know deep inside of you that it's not something fascinating compared to what you have lived before. That's why you always look down on it. But that's not what you're here to do. You're not here to look down on life on earth. You're here to fix, to start from scratch, to re-establish who you are and your true nature and your true soul. Okay? So you're given a chance to do that. And it could have been worse, because the proof is that you're here on earth. If it was worse, you wouldn't be on earth. Okay? So I'm called to stop here. That is the origin of your soul, and that is what you're doing here in this lifetime. I hope this reading resonates. Thank you very much for watching. The smoke was quite consistent, and I sense a lot of struggle with finding out who you are. But everything will become clearer. Just stay on this path, learn as much as you can, and go through your alchemical transformation. It has to happen. Okay? Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next reading. An simach.